Next we have the Home on the Range cabin, ladies and gentlemen. Eldon Holtus from Smith Center, Kansas. Home on the Range, 140th anniversary of the highway cabin, established in 1872. Holtus, Smith Center, Kansas. Home on the Range, ladies and gentlemen. Next we have the 1943 Alice Chalmers. The 1943 Alice Chalmers. It is a model WC. It is driven by Norman Wendell from Alameda, Kansas. Alameda, Kansas. Looks like he's got his buggy top on. He was prepared for a sunny day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a 1949 John Deere D, driven by Wesley Hobbs of Waukene, Kansas. That is a 1949 John Deere D. Wes Hobbs, Waukene, Kansas. Next we have, ladies and gentlemen, a 1954 IHC, a Super MTA, driven by Bob Underwood of Norton, Kansas. You bet, ladies and gentlemen, 1954. A 1961 IHC Model 460, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Underwood from Marion, Kansas. You bet. Thank you so very much, Bob, for coming. Beautiful tractor. Here comes a 1958 IHC Farmall Model 240 Clifford Roach, all the way from Alton, Kansas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I remember this young lady from our contest. Absolutely, a 1952 John Deere Model MT, Ron and Dana Rigg from Cheyenne, Wyoming. They got a plow hitched up to that thing. All the way from Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in the world of antique tractors, this would have to be a little bit on the unique side, folks. This is a 1948, and it is called an Empire. A 1948 Empire, driven by Nancy Green, all the way from Torrington, Wyoming. Did you folks ride down together? Yes. Are you going to ride back together? Yeah. Very good. Well, folks, if you need just a little bit to farm, you don't have a lot of big clods to go over, here is a 1957 Bantam, and it is owned by Dale and Lynn Hyatt. Once again, Laramie, Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take her a while to get that thing back. Folks, if you need a little custom haying done, here's the guy to do it for you right here. See him after the show. He's got the rig. They'll knock down that feed and nothing flat. In this 1949 Droob, is that how you pronounce that? Drooby? It is a self-propelled mower. Dale and Lynn Hyatt. Once again, Laramie, Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen. A 1953 John Deere Model 70. Gary Arment from Atoll, Kansas. Hey, Gary, thank you so very much. Stainless steel looks like on the exhaust. Folks, if you love an orange tractor, you gotta love Alice Chalmers. This is a 1951 Alice Chalmers Model WD. Bill Lukey from our own Hayes, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen. Right behind him, another entrant of Bill's is a 1957 Massey Harris. 1957 Model 50 Massey Harris. 1951 Farmall C. That's a 1951 Farmall C. All three of these tractors owned by Bill Lukey, Hayes, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen. I believe he was a contestant in an earlier race that we had. Here's another contestant. This is a 1965 John Deere 4020 LP. That is a propane-driven tractor. And Eldon Bruns, Bazine, Kansas. Thank you for coming. Beautiful tractor. Ladies and gentlemen, if blue is your color, we have a 1962 Ford. It is a Dextra diesel. That's a 62 Dextra diesel. Gary Krause, Wilson, Kansas. Gary just put her in high gear, and they're headed down the parade route. Thanks for coming. I tell you what, it takes a lot of man hours to put these things together and keep them shiny and looking really great. And we want to thank all of them for coming today. A 1953 International Super C driven by Delmer Dietz of Ogalla, Kansas. Hey, Delmer, how you doing today? You bet. You look good on that, buddy. You were right about the guy that won that, Delmer. Here we have probably one of the older contestants, a 1935 IHC. It is a WA40 William Melton from Center, Kansas, all the way from down south, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty little girl on the fender there. How you doing there? Natoma, Kansas, 1937. John Deere A. Here comes a nice looking tractor, a 1941 John Deere. It's an H model, ladies and gentlemen, from Eldon Zimbelman all the way from St. Francis, Kansas. Thank you for coming. Okay, folks, a 1954 John Deere Model 50, Fred Kleinschmidt, Plainville, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen. That is a Model 50. Runs like a sewing machine. Fred also owns the next entrant, which is a 1962 IH. This is a 660 diesel, owned by Fred also. Looks like he's got the missus driving one. Folks, this tractor has so much power that they had to dual it up in the back end just to keep the dadgum thing having enough traction to go. It is a 1950 Cub demonstrator, William Klein from beautiful Goddard, Kansas. You bet. Thanks for coming. Certainly not to be outdone is Mrs. Klein in a 1949 Farmall Cub. And that is Donna Klein, also from Goddard, Kansas. Are you folks related? More than you'd like to admit. Folks from Cheyenne, Wyoming, direct from Cheyenne, Wyoming. They just got off of I-70, saw the commotion, and they're driving through. It's a Holmesmobile, horseless carriage. Homemade, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, we got a lot of entrants from Cheyenne, and we're glad to have them. Here we have a 1936 International F12 by Roy and Rena Holmes from Cheyenne. Absolutely. Cheyenne, Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they used to farm with today. A 1940, folks. A 1940 John Deere UHW. This isn't Bob Davis driving it, but it says Bob Davis of Kensington, Kansas. Here we go. Jerry Burnbeck from Utica. Jerry is driving a 1943 John Deere B, a 1943 John Deere B. Jerry Burnbeck, that's a rough riding son of a gun, isn't it? That damn right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up here is an old friend of mine, Nolan Hobbs. This young man would rather drive a tractor than do homework, and evidently doesn't want to keep his hands on the steering wheel. All right, 1956 John Deere 420T. 420T. Way to go there, buddy. Jared Hamilton, Ness City, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen. A 1948. That's a 1948 Ford 8N. And It looks like he's into lawn and garden repair. So if you need anything scooped up around the house and bladed off, he's got the rig there to do it. Bob Wagner, Kensington, Kansas, a 1958 John Deere 720. That's a 1958 John Deere 720. Bob Wagner, Kensington, Kansas. Thank you so much. The Delaney's from Ness City have made it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Neil Delaney, Ness City, Kansas, a 1959 John Deere 830. He has the missus with him to make sure that he's driving it correctly. Here's a tractor that's actually older than I am. It's a 1940 John Deere B, John Galentine from Clayton, Kansas. Clayton, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen, John Galentine. Thank you, John, for coming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we have Justin Galentine, Hayes, Kansas. He is driving a 1953 John Deere AR. He has his mother along. Is that your mom? It is? You got to have your mom along? You do? Oh, you've seen him drive? Great. She's teaching him how. He can't ever get him to go into. Way to go. Oh, he's teaching you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's our old friend Jerry Hill from Norcatur, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen, a 1939 John Deere A. And it looks like he's got the old manure spreader behind him. Absolutely. Decatur, Kansas, Jerry Hill, a 1939 John Deere A and a 1951 manure hauler. They're also for hire. Folks, Kevin Dreher, Hayes, Kansas, 1936 John Deere D. All right, folks, here comes Harlan Crable all the way from Luray, Kansas. Harlan is driving a 1949 John Deere Model M. Thank you so very much, Harlan. Keith Shane, once again, from Wyoming, from Burns, Wyoming, Keith Shane. He is driving a 1953 John Deere Model 40. Thank you for coming all the way from Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen. He started down here when he was 45 and just finished up here. Folks, this tractor is registered to Bob Wagner from Kensington, Kansas. It is a 1966 John Deere 4020. That ain't Bob driving that, I'll bet. Well, here we go, folks. I remember this little girl from the contest. This is John Dreiling's tractor from Hayes, Kansas. It is a 1951 John Deere 720. They haven't been able to get her off of the thing since the contest. That's why she's still driving around. Here comes Mrs. Dreiling, I'll bet. Oh yeah. Behind every good man and a daughter is the mom. And she is driving a 1949 John Deere 60, ladies and gentlemen. Dennis Rumminger, Glen Elder, Kansas, ladies and gentlemen. 1941 John Deere A. Folks, here we have a 1953 John Deere Model 50, owned by Brian Schick of Densmore, Kansas. Brian Schick, a 1953 John Deere 50. Another one owned by Brian, a 1942, this is a 42, John Deere Model AR. John Deere Model AR. Folks, Larry Dennis, Kensington. Larry Dennis, and he is driving a 1937 John Deere BR. He's got the sunshade up, folks. He anticipated a hot day. Folks, this is going to be Jeremy Dennis from Kensington, Kansas. I'll bet related to Larry, obviously. This is a 1937 John Deere. This is an AR. 1937 John Deere AR. And here come the Delaney's from Ness City. They are driving a 1946 Model D. Jared Delaney, Ness City, Kansas, a 46 John Deere D. Thank you folks for coming. Well, looks like Gary Warden has made it into a little higher gear this time, Gary. He was the winner of the slowest tractor in the world contest. It was a Farmall Super A. Gary is from Haviland, Kansas. Folks, you can find this tractor out in the middle of a raging blizzard. If orange is your color, here's a 1949 Case LA. Bill Lukey, Hayes, Kansas. A beautiful Case LA tractor. Nicely restored. Thank you for coming, Bill. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we have Felix Torres. Felix Torres from Newton, Kansas, a 1956 Case 500 diesel. He just slapped a for sale sign on it. Those two gals were at Walmart and spent him out all his money. So he's got to sell this thing to get out of hock. Thank you for coming, Felix. We appreciate it so very much. Well, here's my old friend Wes Hobbs again. Wes Hobbs, Waukene, Kansas, a 1955 John Deere Diesel Standard, ladies and gentlemen. They still use that tractor out on the ranch. Well, folks, if you think your Milo's going to make it, here's a young man who can go ahead and help you harvest that. We got Mark Wood all the way from Colby, Kansas, in a 1965 John Deere Model 40 combine, ready to go to work for you. Dadgum right. He can fill a semi in about 2 days. 3 days. That thing would fit in the grain tank of one of the combines they got out there now. Okay, folks, Gary Krause, Wilson, Kansas. He's driving a 1967 Massey Ferguson. This is a Model 135. Gary Krause, Wilson, Kansas. Well, thank you, folks, Gary. Last but certainly not least, my old friend Delmer Dietz, Ogalla, Kansas. Delmer is driving a 1952 International. It's a W4. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap up our parade. You bet. One nice big round of applause for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen all of the entrants. These are literally the best of the best for this year. And we will have Alan, who is going to go ahead and make those awards presentations. I have thanked literally everybody here, which we always want to do. But we have to thank Cindy Eichmann, ladies and gentlemen. She has put this thing together. She's done it for the last 2 years. Give her a great big round of applause. She works and works and works and gets it just right. Well, big hand to Cindy. All right, we'll start this off with the youngest participant. This is the youngest registered participant. This is Nolan Hobbs. He's all of 10 years old, ladies and gentlemen. A 1956 John Deere 420T. Clifford Roach, 1958 IHC Farmall 240. 89 years young. Ladies and gentlemen, right behind him, Nancy Green from Torrington, Wyoming, the farthest participant, 515 miles, and is collecting gas money to get back home. We're doing the 1930 to 39. 1930 to 39. It is entry number 28. Entry number 28. And it is a 1936 International by Roy and Rena Holmes of Cheyenne, Wyoming. With the plow. With the plow. And number 21 is this. This is the 1940 to 49 bracket. Number 21. It's a 1943 John Deere B. Jerry Burnbeck, Utica, Kansas. Now we will do the 1950 to 59. And that is going to go to number 31. Number 31, Bill Lukey from Hays, Kansas. In 1951, Alice Chalmers WC. This is the 1960 to 69. It is Eldon Bruntz from Bazine, Kansas. A 1965 John Deere 4020 LP Standard. This is the 1970 to 79 category. Entrant number 115 in a 1974 John Deere 110. That proves to you, ladies and gentlemen, how the lawn and garden equipment of John Deere hangs in there and hangs in there. The best two-cylinder tractor. It's entrant number 83. It's going to go to Brian Schick of Densmore. Entrant 83. It's a John Deere 50. Okay, now we're going to have the best new era tractor. The best new era tractor, and it belongs to entrant number 108, which is Bob Underwood of Norton, Kansas, in a 1961 IHC 460. Bob Underwood, ladies and gentlemen. Carrico has always recognized uniqueness in its operation and brand, and therefore we're going to go ahead and make a presentation. The most unique entry, number 11, from Dale and Lynn Hyatt from Laramie, Wyoming, a 1957 band. We've been telling you about the People's Choice Award all through the day. That was your opportunity to vote on what you felt was the best entrant for this year. And the People's Choice Award, this is your award, goes to number 18, Bob Richmeyer from Hill City, Kansas, in a 1943 John Deere B. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, proudly displaying the John Deere flag. Best in show, ladies and gentlemen, number 28, Allen, and you'd given him an award earlier, and that is Roy and Rena Holmes from Cheyenne, Wyoming, in a 1936 IHC F12. Big hand for our friends from Wyoming. We have one more to do. This is the best non-tractor entry. It is Gene Kenealing, our old friend from Rush Center, Kansas, and he had a 1920 John Deere 200. It's a two-hole corn sheller, ladies and gentlemen. He was putting on a demonstration back there and didn't hear us. But that's Gene Kenealing, Rush Center, Kansas. You bet, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. Folks, on behalf of Alan Fabricius and all the fine folks at Carrico Implement, we thank every one of you, participants and folks alike, for coming out and sharing this with us.